Hello, hello. I'm back again. This time we're going to make it work. Hey, I'm determined to give you this message today. So, about to run it back from the top because this pledge y'all need to hear. I pledge allegiance to myself, my highest and most authentic self. Within my soul, I shall seek the deepest and purest form of peace. I feed my mind positivity. I love my body unconditionally. I pledge allegiance to me. How many of you have ever made a pledge to something? And I'm not talking about the pledge to the flag. I'm talking about a pledge to you. If you've ever made a pledge to you, type yes in the chat. I'm just curious to see who's ever took an oath or a promise or made a commitment to themselves. You see, a pledge is typically made when a new season is underway, something needs to shift or change in our life, something is about to happen, right? So for me, that pledge came about shortly after July 22nd, 2019. I was going through a turbulent time in my life. It was a lot of stuff going on. I had some symptoms that I had no explanation for. My hands were numb. I was getting blurry vision. I was just dealing with a lot of stuff. And then as time went on, the symptoms started to worsen and more symptoms started to develop. I started to have random falls and headaches and memory loss. So I said, something's not right here. I went to the doctor, had testing done, which led to more tests and screenings and specialists and all of that good stuff. After 3 long months of just testing and doctor's visits, the day finally came, July 22nd, 2019. I sat in the waiting room of my doctor's office. Now, as I sat in anticipation, waiting to be called to the back, of course, so many things just started running through my mind. What could this be? What's going on? I hope I get some answers. I hope they can fix it, you know? So I sat there and I waited, and then I finally got called to the back. I sat in the back for a few minutes, and then the doctor entered the room. Well, when he entered the room, he had a look of grief on his face. I tried to fight back the tears because I was trying to hold on to the little bit of hope for a positive outcome that I had left. So he came over, he pulled his chair right in front of me, and he said, "Camesha, can I hold your hand?" And I said, "Yes." So he held my hand and he said, "Camesha, I'm waiting on one final test to come back, but as of right now, all the signs are leading to." And then he paused, and the pause felt like forever. I said, "Doc, just give it to me. Just give it to me straight. I'm mentally prepared for whatever this is that you're about to tell me, or at least I thought I was." So he held my hand a little bit tighter. He looked at me with a look of sorrow in his eyes and said 2 words: multiple sclerosis. My heart sank. My stomach was in knots. I felt like I was going to vomit. I did not know how to respond. I didn't know what to say. The tears were flowing down my face. Multiple sclerosis. How could this be happening? I'm 32 years old. How could this be happening? There's no cure for multiple sclerosis. I have a friend whose mom has multiple sclerosis. This can't be happening to me. So after I gathered my thoughts, I said, "Doc, what do I expect? What's next? Am I dying?" He gave me as much information as he possibly could in that moment. And I took that information and then I left. Now, on the drive home from the doctor's office, it was about an hour. I drove in complete silence, with just me and my thoughts. And all I kept thinking was, multiple sclerosis. There is no cure. This disease could render me disabled. This disease could render me blind. There's so many things that can happen because statistically, multiple sclerosis is one of the top 3 most unpredictable diseases that exist. So I could wake up tomorrow and not have use of my legs. I could wake up tomorrow and not have use of my eyes. I could wake up tomorrow and not know what is going to happen. Those thoughts kept playing over and over in my head. No cure. No guidance. Unpredictable. So I got home and I went into deep prayer and reflection. I mean, deep. But over the course of the next 2 weeks, I found myself sinking deeper and deeper into depression. Deeper. And one day, after my prayer, a voice came to me. And the voice literally said, align. I continued on about my normal activities after that voice came. And then over the course of the next 3 days, it continued to ring in my ear. Align, align, align. And it seemed to be getting louder and louder. Align, align. Like you ever had something that you just couldn't get out your head, like whether it was a song or a phrase or something like that, and it just kept replaying over and over in your head? That's how this word was. It kept replaying over and over and over in my mind. So one day I was like, okay, you don't have to keep screaming in my ear. I hear you. I pulled out my computer and I researched align. So the definition of the word came to place or arrange in a straight line. So me just got diagnosed with this disease. Like, what does this have to do with me and this disease right now? How is this going to help me move forward? So I continued to research. Now, naturally, when we think about aligning, we think about a car, right? So let's dissect that analogy. So your car has to be aligned. When you take your car to get aligned, what they pretty much do is correct the angles of the tires so that they meet the road at the right time and in the right way, right? At the same time. So if your car is not aligned, your tires don't meet the road at the right time or at the same time, which could cause your car to go in different directions, could cause your car not to work properly, or it could cause you to have to like work extra hard to keep it, in between the lines, right? So your life is the car. Your mind, body, and soul are the tires. So if the tires of your life are not aligned, how can you expect to achieve the things you desire? How can you expect to reach your desired destinations if the tires of your life, your mind, body, and soul are not aligned? Something to think about, huh? So even if you don't have a medical diagnosis like me, whatever your obstacle is, it could look totally different from mine. But whatever it is, you could be going through financial turmoil. You could be trying to find your purpose. You could be dealing with trauma. Whatever the obstacle is that's in front of you, what I know without a shadow of a doubt is that if your mind, body, and soul are in alignment with the things that you desire, you can achieve whatever it is that you desire and overcome any obstacle that is placed in front of you. So you have the ability to come out of anything a winner, regardless of what it is. My multiple sclerosis diagnosis was something that was completely out of my control. I had no control over it, but it wasn't the end. It was not the end because I realized what I could control. There were 3 things that I could control. I could control what I fed my mind. I could control how I fed my body, and I could control how I served my soul. So I made the conscious effort to be in control. I made the conscious effort to control my mind by feeding it positivity through affirmations and journaling and podcasts and everything. I made the conscious effort to control my body by understanding and being intentional about what I put into it. I was intentional about the foods that I ate. I was intentional about getting more physical activity. I controlled my soul by honing into my spiritual journey through meditations and prayers and grounding and all of these things. But ultimately, I was in control. I took control of my own destiny. Regardless of the obstacle of multiple sclerosis that I was being faced with, I took control. I realized that I could control my mind, body, and soul, and I put in the work to do so. I did that. You can too. You can control your life as well. If you believe that you can control your life, you can control your mind, body, and soul. Type I am in control in the chat. You see, so as a result of my experience and everything that I had gone through, I created the Align system. The Align system is a 5-part system that can be used and applied in any aspect of your life. So the A in the Align system is for acknowledge. The very first thing we have to do is acknowledge whatever it is that we're going through, whether it's a hardship, whether it's a medical diagnosis, whatever it is that we're dealing with, you have to acknowledge that it exists. You can't move past something until you acknowledge that it's there. You can't move past it until you accept, not necessarily accept to the point of I'm accepting this and this is what it is, but accepting and acknowledging that it exists. Like, think for example, of an alcoholic who wants to recover, right? If they go to an AA meeting, the first thing they say is, my name is John Doe, and I am an alcoholic. Because they're accepting, acknowledging the fact that they're an alcoholic, right? So the very first step in my Align system is to acknowledge. Whatever it is, acknowledge it. It's yours. Acknowledge it. The L in the Align system is liberate. So after you've acknowledged it, you got to liberate yourself from it. Because so many times we try to hold on to something. We have these emotions, we try to suppress them. We have all this past stuff that we hold on to, and it's like we're carrying a bag on our shoulders. We don't forgive ourselves too often. We don't free ourselves from the loathing and the blame and the guilt and the shame. Like, we typically hold on to a lot of stuff. So liberate your mind from these things. Liberate your mind from the thoughts of this has no cure. We shifting the narrative in this step. So you got to liberate yourself from whatever those feelings are that are holding you back, that are keeping you from progressing to the next step of your life. So after you've acknowledged and you've liberated, the I in the Align system is to investigate. Now, this step could get a little touchy because you're going to figure out the who, the why, the what, all the details of why you are where you are, whether it involves someone else or something else, whatever it is, or even if you're investigating how to navigate through or maneuver through whatever that thing is. But this stage, I view it as like the planning or drafting stage, because you're getting all the details that you need. You coming up with, okay, this is why I did this, or this is what I need to do in order to deal with this. So you're coming up with all these things. You're doing the deep investigation. Now, depending on what your original obstacle is that you're applying this system to, some triggers could come up in this step. So, but the one thing that I like about it is if you work this system, you will know how to manage and respond to those triggers. So although they're going to come up, you're going to know what to do to get past them. So after you've acknowledged, you've liberated yourself, you're investigated, the fourth step in the Align system is generate. This is my favorite step, because this is the step where you let go of all that other stuff. You've let go of the what ifs and everything else. And now you're putting a plan into action. You making some stuff happen. You manifesting some stuff. You know what you're capable of doing, and you about to make it start happening. You setting new boundaries. You creating new habits. You just started doing new rituals. You now get up every morning and meditate for 10 minutes. You know, you're doing all these new things to push your life forward. You have a completely new perspective and view on life. So in that generate phase, that's when you put all this stuff that you didn't release, you putting it behind you, and you're creating these new things that are going to push you and propel you forward to your next stage. And then the last phase, the last step in the align system, the N, and I feel like this is the most important, is to nurture. Because just like with anything you plant or start or anything has to be nurtured. Because nurturing is simply to encourage the growth and development of something. So in order for you to thrive, you got to nurture it. It's just like if you plant a seed. You can't plant the seed and then it's just expect it to grow. You never water it. It don't never get no sun, any of that. You can't plant it and expect it to grow. Or like with a child, when you have a baby, you can't just have a baby and expect the baby to just grow. You have to nurture that child and feed it, give it nutrients and that type of stuff. So just like with those two examples, you have to nurture these new habits, these new practices, this new life that you've created. So as a recap, my 5-step align system to achieve the results in life that you desire, whatever those results are, facing whatever obstacle you may be facing. The A is for align. The L is for liberate. The I is for investigate. The G is for generate. And the N is for nurture. Whew. Honey, if you're ready to align your life, type align in the chat. Yes. So how many of you have ever read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear? If you have, type yes in the chat. It's a good book if you haven't read it. But so in James's book, he says, goals are good for setting direction, but systems are best for making progress. So what I just gave you was a 5-step proven and effective system to deal with any obstacle you're facing, to achieve any goals that you so desire. You have the ability to do so as long as you realize that you take control of the things that you can control. You see, since I've been utilizing this system, multiple sclerosis took a back seat to my life. My symptoms are minimized. I am no longer on any medications. I am happy, healthy, and living in my purpose. And you can too. Whatever the obstacle is that you're facing right now, it's proven. This is a proven system that will work whatever you are facing, whatever you are facing. Your destiny is in your control. You're the author of your own story. Your destiny is in your control. Your mind, body, and soul are within your control. You can align them to achieve whatever it is that you desire. Type a line in the chat if you picking up what I'm putting down for you today. So listen, I'll leave you with this. Purpose is usually found in pain. Life is truly lived through liberation. Access is granted through acknowledgement, and passion is found in investigation. Goals, they're achieved through generation, and growth is found in nurturing. Life is truly divine when you align. So when you leave this conference today, I challenge you to take the things that I've given you here today and implement them. Use this 5-step align system for whatever it is that you're going through in your life. I can guarantee you that it works. It works. So I challenge you. Use this system and turn your obstacles and challenges into purpose and achievements. Thank you for your time.